Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine. I'm pretty excited for today's project. It's something that I've had on my mind for quite a while to try, and I'm finally found a little block of time where I can do it. So somewhere on the internet, on Instagram, I saw someone taking a scarf and making things with it. I wish I could remember who it was, but the idea kind of stuck in my mind, and I ran across some beautiful scarves. I find these scarves every week at the vintage markets, and so I've been, kind of searching for the right ones. Beautiful one that is actually a Pierre Cardin. Has the beautiful signature on the corner, which we're going to try to use. But I love the pattern. It does have a couple stains on the brown part here. I did wash these, iron them. But yeah, so I think that they're ready to be turned into something else. The second scarf I have as a complementary piece is this. This one is more of a actual like a crepe feel, whereas this one is definitely a silk. So I'm not sure how the textures will work, but I really loved the color, and I loved that this one has little signatures in all of the corners, which I'm going to try to use. So what in the world am I thinking to make with these two scarves? Well, what I'm going to do is make a vest. So I have a basic pattern. This is actually the base of my quilted puff sleeve jacket, which I have the pattern for, and I haven't launched it. I've had it for a couple of years. So maybe one of these days I will launch it and also include the vest. And I just did this little cap sleeve. This is a cap sleeve I use a lot. You've probably seen it in my Mercer top, in my Van Damme dress. So we're just gonna do a vest with a really cute little cap sleeve on it. So because these scarves are so silky and soft, what I'm actually going to do is I have some warm and natural quilt batting in my stash, and I'm going to actually try, I have no idea if this is gonna work, but I'm going to try to quilt the scarf pieces and then make the vest out of the quilted piece. So hopefully it's going to be a really soft and cozy and super different vest. So one of the decisions that I needed to make is, do I quilt the scarf with the batting on the back, or do I actually line it? If I line it, then that means I need to somehow finish the seams inside. The other option is I could just quilt it with this being on the back and then do a lining that's not quilted in. But I've decided to do all three layers, the scarf, the batting, and then a lining layer, all quilted together, and then I'll do like a Hong Kong type of seam finish to finish the inside of my vest. So I have this is just a cotton that I've used before that I have in navy that I had some scraps of, so I'm gonna use that for the inside. I also have this pretty scarf that I picked up as well that I thought about using, but in the end I like the floral one a little bit better, but maybe in the future I'll use this one as well. So to get started, I think like all of these kind of upcycling projects where I'm using either the embroidery or the pattern or the print, the biggest part of the project, or the biggest part of designing the piece, is the placement of my pattern. So that's what I'm going to work on first with the floral one. So yeah, I'm going to get to cutting. And what I'm thinking with cutting is I'm going to cut around the piece, not exactly around the pattern. I'll cut kind of loosely around it so that I have a little bit of room for the quilting in case it happens to shrink up a bit. And then I'll go around and cut them exactly according to the pattern. So I have all of my pieces cut, and now what I'm doing is just sandwiching my outer piece with the batting and then my cotton on the back. And now I need to decide what kind of quilt pattern I'm going to do on these. I'm kind of nervous about straight lines just because I don't want to, well, one, I don't want to have to match up the lines. They almost become stripes that I would feel like I would want to match. And I don't really know that I want to do that. So I'm trying to figure out what else I might do, or maybe just do the stripes and match them. I don't know. I may do some kind of squiggly line that I could freehand on my machine. But the idea is that I want to quilt this. Basically, I did kind of like squiggly lines going like that. I think it could be kind of cool. So yeah, I'm going to decide what kind of quilt to do, quilting to do, and finish getting my sandwiches together. And then I'm going to start quilting these pieces. So I have my pieces all quilted up. This is one side, this is the other. Kind of interesting. I have my two little cap sleeves, and then I have the back. So the back, I'm not super happy with the way it turned out. This scarf was a little bit, well, it was sliding all around. You can even see by the line here. This is supposed to be a straight line. The scarf was really slippery, slidey. I did my best. The lines aren't perfect, but I don't think it's gonna matter at all. So I'm just going to cut out my back piece, and then I'm going to start assembling the vest. And I think what I'm going to do is use bias tape around all of my seams. So first what I'll do is do bias tape on my side seams and my shoulder seams, and then sew them right sides together. And that way on the inside, it'll be nice and finished and will look good. I think I'm actually going to use this blue cotton that I had as the finish for the inside. And then I still need to decide on the bias binding. I think I may have enough of the blue scarf left to use that. Otherwise, I'll just use the blue cotton for the bias binding that I'll do all around the front. I'm still not sure if I'll do a little tie here at the, right at the front. I don't know if it needs it or not, so I'll probably make that decision at the very, very end. Well, it's finished and I absolutely love it. I'm so glad I attempted this project, and I definitely recommend that you try it as well. This was such a fun project, a really fun challenge. So overall, really happy with the way it turned out. I'll overlay some video of it here. A couple things that I would maybe do differently or just be aware of if you're going to try this project is I did have, because I used two silk scarves, the silk scarf that I used for the front piece was a more, almost like a satin silk. It was definitely silk, but it's like a heavier, kind of the, the satiny type of silk. The silk for the back was like a crepey kind of silk. So the back silk was not nearly as stable as the front. It was actually even almost see-through when you look through it in the light. And because of that, it really was slipping and sliding all around as I was quilting it. So I did have, you can actually see in the back. So you can see that the line is not perfectly straight. And I actually had to add a piece here because what happened was the silk piece, it kind of like, as I was quilting it, it kind of like stretched almost to one side. So then I didn't have enough like to cut my piece. So I had to add a little piece at the bottom, which in the end, it is totally fine and it makes the piece really unique. I was able to use a end piece from the scarf. So I think overall it ended up just fine. But as a cautionary tale, or for the next one that I might make, I would definitely use spray starch. And I think I would really just spray starch the entire scarf before I even went to cut it out, just to give it some stability. I might also consider using a like a water soluble stabilizer or something like that. I did wash both of the scarves. I just put them right into the washing machine, hung them to dry. So I know this piece is completely washable. I'm not afraid to wash it. So maybe a washable stabilizer or a like the Pellon stabilizer that tears away, that could be good as well. So I think overall I needed just a little bit more stability with especially the back scarf. The front was totally fine. It was a stable enough of a silk, but definitely in the softer silk of the back would have been nice to have a little bit more stability. I am definitely going to keep my eye out for pretty scarves and also different scarves that maybe have two different prints rather than a solid that I can mix and match. I think would be a really cool combo. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel inspired maybe to find some scarves of your own. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.